Just take pictures, submit it online. If you can do me a big favor, if you can make it one big PDF file, like with all pages on there, like a continuous file, that'd be great instead of individual pictures. But if you can't make that work, that's fine. Just submit it the way it works for you. Okay? All right. So we've got this arc, old exam question, right? So the key here is to say that don't underestimate the power of 0, 0, okay? That is key. So you're starting right at the edge here. Then you walk 2.5 meters, you're at 10. Okay? So 2.5, 10. So we don't have the vertex. This would be 96, all right. A lot of you said, well, this has to be 96 in terms of the x value because it's right in the middle. But you don't need that. You can just go straight across and just say this is 192, 0, right? So it's 192 meters sideways, and you're still back to a height of 0. So these are the 3 points. You just have to identify them. I would say this is distance and height. Write them down, 2.5, 10, and 192, 0. Okay? Sean, if you don't mind, I'm putting him on the spot because I saw it on him. Maybe somebody else did it. He found this point right across this one. Okay, so what height are we going to be at over here? We're going to be at 10, same. And what is this going to be? 192 minus 2.5. Like you take 2.5 away here to get to that part right there. So this will be, what is this, 188.5? No, 189.5? Yeah. So that is also an option. That is an option. There's something about the symmetry where every point is the same distance away from each edge towards the center. Okay, so if that worked for you, you got the exact same answer. One more thing. I should have mentioned it, but if you performed the regression, it could be that your calculator shows you some C value. I forgot what it is. Leah, do you remember? Can you run it real quick? Just rerun the regression. What is it, Hazel? Right. And then there's the E negative 10 thing here. That means it's 0, okay? As soon as you see E, and it should be 0, right? Because remember, the y-intercept, that constant, is where it's that y-intercept where we start, right, at a 0 height. So make sure you understand that this is technically plus 0, but it may be omitted. So please don't write down. If you write down the negative 2.52, and here you will lose, I'm afraid you might lose a whole mark. I'm not sure. It depends on how they want us to mark that particular year. I would say probably just half a mark off, because if you come up with the points, I mean, you know what you're doing. And because it's worth 2 marks, I think you'd probably lose half. Okay, what's the maximum height of the arc, right? Or the arch? So we find it using second trace max. So you're using your calculator. Make sure you plug that in. I think the max is 194.53. Go ahead. Okay, so that is your answer for the maximum height. I put the keystrokes down. You're good to go. Okay. Stephen walks from left to right and stops when he's 54 meters from the right edge. How tall is the arch at that point? So just so you understand, you're 54 meters away from this end, okay? But remember that this equation starts here, so you want to know what the x value is here. So how would you find the x value? You would go 192 minus 54, right? So that's 138. So you're at 138 here in terms of your x value, and then you find the y value. So this is second trace value. X is equal to 138. Y is equal to 157.30 meters. I think you get the same answer, though, if you put in 54. Yeah, but because it's symmetric, right? 54 from here is going to be the same height as across here, right? 54. So coincidentally, you get the same answer. So I don't know what the province would have done. I don't think they would have asked that question because they're aware that you may miss that and still get the right answer. So I don't think they would have asked it this way. They would have probably just said, hey, what if you walk 54 meters from here? So kind of expecting you to find the height there, okay? The city would like to paint the floor underneath the arch where the height of the arch is 180 or above. Determine the horizontal distance that will need to be painted. So we basically want to know when we are at 180, it's going to be up here. Right? This is the 180 line. So we need to figure out down on the floor, right, what is that horizontal distance going to be? So guess what? It's going to involve finding this point, finding that point, subtracting the x values, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So I'll just show you the keystrokes here. I know I'm not showing you with the calculator. Second trace intersect. And the first one is 69.7607. That is distance 1. Distance 2 is 122.2393. So if you look at it this way, this is the 180 mark. This is distance 1. This is distance 2. You subtract them, right? So delta D is 122.23 ... By the way, that's okay to do this while you're working. You just go ... That's indicating that you're using either all decimals or more than just the 2. This is 52.48 meters. Okay. So know how to do that as well. I'd like to quickly do page 62. I will do the top now one, and you can do the bottom. So let's go to 62. This is the profit type of question. So we're comparing the price, the number of canoes, and then the revenue, the profit. So it says that if we charge $12, we have an average of 36 rentals, right? So this would be 12 times 36. Does that make sense? So it basically gives you a starting point. This is on 62. For every 50-cent increase, you can expect to lose 2 rentals a day. So we'll lose 2 rentals if we go 50 cents up. So this will be $12.50 times 34. Then we go up 50 cents one more time. We lose an additional 2 rentals at this price. So this would be 13 times 32. Okay. Let me just quickly, this is 432. This is 425. This is 416. Okay. Always make sure the revenue or the profit goes into L2. It says, it doesn't tell us what the equation is supposed to relate. So pay attention to this part. Are we relating the price and the revenue, or are we relating the number of canoes rented and the revenue? It doesn't say. So we're just going to say that I kind of give it away here by telling you that this is L1. So we type this into our L1 and L2. And this is just a reminder for the test. And I'll tell you right away, because some of you are going to have issues with your windows. You need to do your regression. I'm going to see if I have it on my main screen here. There it is. I ran it not too long ago. These types are always quadratic. Okay, profit is quadratic. The throwing something is quadratic. The arch was definitely quadratic. But don't forget about your cubics. Don't forget about all those, right? Linear. So this is my equation here. Make sure you start with y equals. C is 0. If I turn plot 1 on and then do a zoom stat, it's probably not going to be the greatest. What do I always want you to do with your x min and y min? Always have negative values in there. Okay, so whatever zoom you do, I will go to window, I'll change my x min to like -2 or something, and y min to -5. Why? Because the max is so big. I kind of go by that. Changing the x min and the y min to a negative, now I see the axes, so now I'm going to chase the curve on the right side, x max and y max. Y max, I'm going to go 500. X max, I think I'm going to double or triple it. Let's go 40 for the X max. And there you go. You have your window. This type of question will probably be concerned with what's the maximum profit, how much should you charge, things like that. So second trace max. Boom. Boom, boom. There you go. So I would say you write down the vertex. Okay. So the maximum profit is $441 on that given day, and the price is $10.50. You should be charging $10.50 to maximize your profit. Okay. So that's that. All right.